Good evening, wherever you are tuning in from in the world. So this morning we are going to practice two different types of breath work. The first one, we're going to be connecting the breath with the movement, and we're going to practice something called Ujjayi breathing, also known as ocean breath. And it's a very, very simple breath work that you practice throughout the movement in yoga, basically. And it's a restriction of the back of the throat. And when you're breathing, you want to be breathing in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. And this is going to help us open up the nose, open up the nasal for later on for the other breathwork session. So we're going to follow some Sun Salutations, and I'll just go over the breathwork again. Sorry, it's ocean breath. So if you imagine that you're trying to fog up a mirror or like a plane of glass, like, and you restrict the back of the throat to make that sound, close the mouth, and it goes like this. Just like that. And so we'll make a start. We're going to stand at the front of the mat. Each time we move, we inhale, we exhale. So each time we move, I'll just listen to my guidance basically, and just follow along. We'll be holding like a downward facing dog for 5 breaths. That's where we're going to be really trying to deeply get into this breath work. So I'll go fairly slow for the first couple of ones, just so you kind of get the rhythm of it. And then I might speed things up. So stand at the front of the mat. Big toes together, heels and ankles are slightly apart. Hands down by your side. You're going to inhale, look up, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Keep a bend in the knees. Inhale, lengthen. So you want a flat back here. Hands come to the mat. Step the right foot, step the left foot. You're going to exhale, lower down, elbows tucked in. Inhale, come onto the top of your feet into an upward facing position. Tuck the toes, we'll go for the downward facing dog, keeping the knees bent. 5 breaths. You want to allow your belly, your chest and chin to kind of just sink down, gazing through your knees. And 5. Inhale, you're going to look ahead, walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Coming up to the halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Raise the arms up. Hands are back to heart center. Back down to the side into standing position. And so when you're in your downward facing dog, you might be able to, a lot of guys are like this and the heels are off the floor. The idea is to try and get the heels onto the floor, and then you can start once you've got the position with your shoulders and your kind of belly, chest, chin is sinking down, then you can start to kind of pull up on the hamstrings and on the knees to try and straighten your legs. But for now, you probably want to be bending your legs as much as you need to. And there's another thing you can do where you lift your pelvic floor muscle. And it's like, if you try to stop yourself from going for a piss, basically, and you can kind of pull up on that pelvic floor, suck the stomach in, and it's going to help you get further into those forward folds, further into the downward facing dog. So there's just a couple of little kind of tips for you. Okay. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Hands to the mat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. tucking the toes. Exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths. And 5. Inhale, look ahead, walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Lengthening the spine into the halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, back to heart center, hands down by your side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Hands to the mat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And 5. Inhale, look ahead. Walk, step or jump to the front. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up, arms up to the sky. Exhale, return. Back to heart center, hands down behind your side. Back into Samasthiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen, hands to the mat. Step back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths. Just keep going with that. I'm going to set a timer, which I forgot to do. And 5, inhale, look ahead. Walk to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to Samasthiti, standing position. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the mat, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And 5, inhale, look ahead. Walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands back to heart center, back to standing position. I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Hands to the mat, step or jump back. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And 5. Walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to Samastiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Hands to the mat. Jump or step back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And 5, inhale, look ahead. Walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, back to Samastiti, standing position. Right, guys, we're going to move on to our breath work, our second breath work. And if you joined earlier this week, you'll kind of have a good idea of what we're doing here, but I'll explain for anybody who's new. So we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing, and we'll kind of alternate through the right, through the left nostril. And you should feel your nostrils now. They should be nice and open. The airway should be nice and open. You're going to take a bend in the first 2 fingers on the right hand, and we're going to be using the thumb, and we're going to be using not the pinky, but the other finger, kind of like the wedding ring finger, but on the right hand. You're going to block the right nostril. We're going to inhale through the left. You're going to block the left nostril, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Just release your hand. We're going to breathe in through both nostrils, out through both nostrils. Deep breath in, filling up the lungs. Exhale, releasing all of the air out of the lungs. On this next round, what we're going to do, we're going to try and slow the breath down to a point where we're trying not to hear the breath come out of the nostril. We just want to try and let it float out, let it flow in and out of the nostrils. You can kind of use your chest, use your throat to kind of just allow it to float through. It's a very kind of controlled breath work, and it's challenging because you'll have to really, really slow it down. Sometimes you might feel like you're suffocating, but I promise you, if you try and just push through that a little bit, you kind of get this kind. The first time I did it, I got like a euphoric feeling. It was like breaking past like a panic, and then it just went, and it was just like calmness. But obviously, if you need to breathe, then you breathe. You return to your normal breath, and then just join back in when you're ready. So again, blocking the right nostril with the right thumb. Inhale through the left. Block the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block, exhale through the right. And return to normal breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose. We're going to finish this session with a kind of meditation, but it's kind of a visualization, manifestation, meditation. What I want you to do is just allow your breath to kind of return to normal. What I want to do over the next 5 minutes or so is just, I want you to visualize something that you desire in life. You know, it could be a goal, it could be a dream, something that you really want. And I want you to visualize it that much that you can see yourself there. So for me, I shared this earlier this week, but I'm moving to Bali, and my small visualization is me being on the beach with my dog. And I want you to really think about it can just be a small thing, but you want to really feel what it feels like to be there. So what emotion are you feeling? You need to imagine it that much, down to the detail, like what emotion are you feeling? It could be, you know, if it's a fitness goal, it could be 6 months from now. How do you feel? You feel strong, you feel confident, you know, imagine what are you actually wearing? How good do you feel? And then another part of this is actually taking action. So what do you think the action steps are for you to take to get to where you want to be? So you can picture yourself doing the thing, or being the person that you want to be, or being in the place that you want to be. And you can feel the emotion, but what is it that you need to do to be able to get there? And it might just be small action steps, but I want you to kind of like visualize. And now, what are the action steps that you need to take to get to where you want to be? So you've got the thought, so that's the visualization. What is it that you desire? Then you've got the feeling, so you need to attach the emotion to that feeling. What does it feel like? And then the action steps that you need to take to get to where you need to be. So as we close this session, I've got some action steps that I want you to take after this session. Either write down in your phone, in your notes, or write on a piece of paper. Writing down is actually very, very powerful. But if you need to, just write down in your notes on your phone. Now, I want you to write the visualization. So what is the thing that you desire? And now the next part is, how do you feel? Are you feeling fit? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling in shape? Or maybe you're feeling very grateful, very happy that you're in this particular place. And then the next part is the action. So what are the action steps? What is something that you need to do to get to where you want to be? You might not know the full, you might not know every action, but what are some action steps that you can take to get to where you want to be? And so to practice this visualization, this manifestation, you don't need to be sat on a mat. You can do this any time of the day. You could be sat in traffic. You could be out walking the dog. You can literally do this visualization, this manifestation technique anywhere you are. Like I said, you don't need to be sat on a mat. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, this brings us to the end of our session. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took some value from this, and I will see you again shortly in the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.